What's up, everybody? We have Aggie. He's available for foster or adoption through www.chooselife.org. He's a cool dog, very social, very playful. Come here. Come here. Oh, good boy. Yeah, it's very soft fur. It's not like sometimes you get like a wiry feeling. What are you doing? Does have crazy eyes. Aggie. Aggie. Big old eyes. Very playful. In fact, there's the toys. Good boy. Chop. Hey. Good boy. Hey. Hey! So I want him to look at me, not the toy. Hey! See his eyes darting back and forth? See, if he's looking at the toy, his mind's on the toy. If he's looking at me, his mind is on me. So right now his brain is, because he's so close to it, his brain is trying to figure out which one to focus on. So if you throw the toy while he's looking at the toy, he can become fixated. He can become possessive. He can do a lot of different go a lot of different ways that aren't necessarily good. Because see, even though he's sitting, his mind is extremely intense on the toy right now. And again, I don't want to move the toy away. I want to wait until he calms down. So because this is a video, and sometimes, it might take a few minutes for him to calm down, what I could do is I could always back him up. Hey, go. 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 So now I'm going to sit back down. Hey! So if you look, now he's looking at me. He's making eye contact with me. So the closer he is to the distraction, whether it's somebody knocking on the door, whether it's a cat outside, whether it's a treat, whether it's a toy, whatever the case may be where there's intensity, if you allow him to fixate or go after, see, he's not looking down. Good boy! Good boy! So if you can catch it when he's not looking, not paying attention, then it's almost like they think that they will the situation to occur. For instance, if I'm sitting at, let's say, a door here. Let's say, and we don't use this fridge, so let's say this is a sliding glass door for a backyard, right? Let's say the dog wants to go outside, so very obediently and very good, he goes to the door and he waits. Maybe he cries a little bit, saying, "Hey, you know what? Hey guys, come on, let me out. I gotta go to the bathroom." So if he's looking just outside, say this is a glass door, if he's just looking outside and then we come over him and we slide the glass open to allow him to go out, then we take the human aspect out of the process of letting the dog out. Now it sounds simple, and if your dog is really good, then who cares? But if you're having some dominance issues, if you're having some obedience issues, if you're having some excitement issues, then if you catch these little things, then it will avoid big things. So if the dog is sitting here looking outside saying, "I want to go out, I want to go out, I want to go out," and then we just let him out and then he goes out, then this is going to start to become a place of intensity. This is going to become a place of high focus, but not on the human, on the situation, on the want to go outside. So if the dog is close, I'm going to go in between the door and the dog, hey, and I'm going to back that dog off, and then I'm going to get him looking at me. Then I could open the door, hey, and keep him looking at me. And if he's still looking at me, I could even back off a little bit. So if the door is open, if the sliding glass door is open, and the dog just runs outside, then we know that we didn't set it up properly, because he's still too excited. Oh my God. But if we open the door and the dog's still looking at us, oh boy, come on. And then we allow him out, he starts to learn that he can only go outside if it's he's over there with the toy. It's like, who are you talking to? Come on. But if you allow him to go outside on your terms, then he's going to be... So right here, I never want to pull... So that's very intense. You see it? You see him, how he looked at that toy as soon as he... Go! So he is looking at me, but he's still very intense. So if I throw this right now, the intensity is going to be high. So if I'm just wanting to play with the dog, cool. But if I want to start to change some of the behavior, some of the misbehavior, I should say, around the house. See how he's not looking at the toy at all? He's looking probably up at some birds or something. I'm gonna toss it. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Hey. See, he looks at me now. Oh, in the water. Nothing like a furry tennis ball to be in the water. But anyway, to finish up my thoughts on that, if you're in control of situations and the dog is only able to continue with the situations based on whether or not you allow him to, then you become that leader. Then you're able to intervene with some of the mind frame. Now, if the dog is permitted just to run outside, then the dog, what happens is the dog wants to go outside, and then the dog goes outside. So the dog wants the food, then he takes the food. And the dog wants to play, and then he plays. And then the dog wants affection, so he takes affection. So we're actually building a very dominant mind frame. And especially when there's excitement. In my opinion, excitement is the basis of all misbehavior. So if the dog is excited, and then there's intensity, and then there's dominance, you can see how that could be... what are you doing, buddy? Good boy. You can see how that could be some different... invitations for some misbehavior, some frustration down the line of owning the dog. So I never want to. Good boy. I'll hold it, but I'm not pulling it. I don't want to pull a toy away. Hey, back, go. I want to move him back. I don't want to move the toy away. Because if I move the toy away, he'll follow the toy. And then as I'm bringing the toy into me, he's coming into me. And then he might jump up on me. He might try to get the toy and get my hand instead. So, again, if your dog is great, then fantastic. This is more for the people that have, a very excited dog, very possessive dog. Sometimes they're territorial, or sometimes... I hate saying aggressive, because typically it's not aggression, it's just reactivity. Because, in my opinion, aggression is I want to kill everything all the time. And most dogs aren't like that. Most dogs are insecure. Hey, go. Go. Most dogs are just reactive to situations, and typically they're insecure or nervous based upon previous owners' lack of knowledge in ways of how to handle misbehavior or situations or hey. So the reason I'm stopping that is I don't want him to like chew it to rip it apart. I just want him to play with it. Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, so now I'm playing with him because of my voice, right? So now he's starting to tug a little bit. What are you doing? Oh, good boy. Good boy. So at any point I can stop that. Hey. Hey. Easy. So as a... Perfect. Good boy. So as a human, you have the ability to move forward with the situation or to stop it. If the dog is too excited, intense, anything like that, then we're going to go ahead and stop the situation, let the dog calm down, and then continue on our terms. So what we're saying is, you could have the ball, but you got to calm down. You could eat the food, but you got to calm down. I don't care if the dog sits before they eat. I really want them to stop moving back and forth. I want them to just not assume that that's their food. It's like the couch. A lot of people say, "Oh, I have my dog on the couch." I don't care. That's cool. Enjoy a good time with your dog on the couch. That's fantastic. But if that dog jumps on the couch like that's his couch, and then if you sit down, he comes into your space, we need to alter that initial time that you guys sit down together to where you're in charge and it's not up to the dog. So if the dog just jumps up on the couch, I'm going to send him off. Hey, go. And then when he gets off the couch, after a few times, after a few minutes, maybe after he calms down, after he sits down, after he's not paying attention to the couch, then I'll call him up. So now he's coming up because I told him to, because I asked him to. He's not coming up because it's his couch and he can do whatever he wants in the house. Because that's when, even though the couch might not be a problem, maybe you don't want him to jump up on a table that you guys eat at. Or maybe you don't want, him to jump up on people, But if it's his house and in his mind, he thinks it's his rules, then he's going to do what he wants. And just like you'd tell a kid no in certain situations, you got to be able to tell your dog no. And again, that's just, they need that. They look for that. They want that. They want that leadership, so that way the decisions aren't on their shoulders. Because what happens is, if you're walking the dog and then he starts barking because there's another dog walking, your dog's trying to take control of that situation. Hey. So what happens is, by you saying, hey, or getting his attention or doing whatever you got to do to not allow him to go into the higher levels of misbehavior, when he sees a dog, then he's going to understand that that dog is not up to him, it's up to you. But see, if that message is consistent at home, I'm not going to let you eat until you look at me. I'm not going to throw your toy until you look at me. I'm not going to let you on the couch until you look at me. What happens is you're starting to take control of all of his decisions, all of his life. And then he looks to you for leadership because he's taking that submissive role. But a lot of people feel bad about telling a dog no because maybe they've been tied to a tree. I work in rescue sometimes, so you get all kinds of horrible stories where, hey, a dog was tied to a tree. Oh, the poor baby! And then people open up their hearts, which is beautiful. But then they don't do it in a way that's structured, and the dog doesn't understand what's okay and what's not. And then they start messing up. And then I get a phone call saying, "Hey, my dog just jumped up on my 4-year-old kid." It's like, well, of course he did, because you have no rules in the house. The house, in my opinion, the way that I like it is, I like the house to be a place of relaxation. So if we'll come outside, we'll play, we'll be goofy, we'll let them play with each other and wrestle around and stuff. But in the house, I want them to relax. Let's go to sleep, let's lay down. Let's cuddle, let's wrestle. Not wrestle, but like lay down and watch a movie, something like that. But if throwing a ball or something like that, we'll come outside or put them on a long leash and take them out in the front yard there. So, just a couple of ideas to calm your dogs down, because a lot of people think that, oh, my dog dug a hole, so my dog's bad because he dug a hole. Well, he dug the hole because he's probably bored, he's probably too excited, he's probably not being challenged. So, if we say that, if we see a kid misbehaving at Walmart or whatever, we'll be like, those damn parents. But if we see a dog misbehaving, we're like, oh, that dog's bad. Or, we don't take ownership of the dog. We don't take responsibility for the decisions the dogs are making from the human's perspective, I got pulled over by a guy when I was driving around. I have a car that says dog training on it. And he says, my dog is like very intense and kind of crazy. He's like, I don't know what happens. He's like, I'll sit there and I'll tell him, back up, go. He's like, I'll tell him to shut the F up and I'll yell at him and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, it sounds to me like he's behaving the same way that you are. But we don't see that as if we're trying to get their attention, trying to yell at them, trying to do whatever, A, we're emotional, so that's not going to be effective. But B, we don't understand that the way that we're behaving around the dog, we're going to transform that dog to behave like that. So. Anyway, folks, just a few ideas. Hey, drop. Okay, so now he's not dropping. So I'm sitting down, so I'm going to stand up and come into his space. Go. So now I'm backing him up. Go. There we go. Good boy. All right, folks. This is Aggie, www.chooselife.org. Subscribe if you haven't. Please give a thumbs up and a comment. Thank you.